Hello, Coyotes. My name's Grace Kelly, and I'm joined with
Shannon Smith.
And Connor Whitlatch.
And we have a special guest, Cole Tizan.
Hi.
So, how's everyone's day going so far?
It's going good.
Pretty good.
The weather's pretty nice outside, like after the rain yesterday.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love this weather, and everything's so green, too, all the plants.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about the cooler weather, I know as it moves more towards winter, all I can think about is how college applications are getting closer. And I know Shannon and I are both seniors, and Cole also is a senior. And I know Connor has a few questions about college applications and the whole process. So, we're just going to talk about that today. So, Cole, do you have anything you wanted to say about college applications and what your experience has been so far?
So, admittedly, I've been procrastinating. I have barely started on my college essays, but I do believe that there's this conception that the college essays are this big, overly overloaded process. But if you actually sit down, like the CSUs and UCs to an extent, can be done in a fair bit of sitting, in my opinion. You just need to pour in a few hours, right? It's just knowing basic information, knowing things about yourself, and having your transcript, right? It isn't anything scary. It's just painted to be as such, right?
I really agree. I think also it's a lot harder for our generation not our generation, but our class of students, because we missed a lot of high school. And I feel like college applications are really just trying to figure out who you are, what you've done. And it doesn't need to be, oh, I made a colonization on Mars or something like that. It really can be something as simple as I found out who I was in high school and I want to pursue that in college as well. And I think a lot of us missed out on those really, really important years. So that's why it's hard for us right now. But I think we just need to look at ourselves and who we are and figure out what we want to do and show that to colleges, because that's really all they're looking for. What do you think, Shannon?
Well, personally, for my major, it requires a lot of supplementals. So I have the essays on top of like portfolio work I have to submit. And the essays are, like Cole said, they don't take a fairly long amount of time. Like you can get them done in one setting, and then it's just editing, which takes about, a couple of days. But getting those, like, all of your portfolio pieces in and, like, having most of the portfolio pieces, too, are just, like, more essays on, like, who you are, like you said, Grace, and, like, what you'll bring to the table, which is kind of hard to figure out when you've just been on the computer for majorly, like, 2 years, and you haven't really gotten the time to choose what you really want to pursue for the rest of your life. So that's just really difficult for me, and there's like a section on the college applications where you can talk about how COVID has interfered with your life. And I haven't even filled that part out because I just know colleges and a lot of people in general don't really want to talk about that. Like they're done about hearing about COVID. So I don't know. Just when it comes to college applications, I feel like another misconception, like Cole said, lots of people do them at the last minute. And although, while people will say that's not very recommended, like you shouldn't do that, I know plenty of people that have gone into the college they're currently at by turning in their essay like the very night before. So while I think if what you want to say hasn't come to you yet, I would wait, honestly. Writing when you have the ideas and letting it flow is the best way. Don't force yourself to tell the story of you, or else it's not going to be enjoyable and no one's going to want to hear it.
I really agree, and I think if you can spend this time right now working on projects to show your engagement in these topics, because if you are somewhat interested in something and then you go to college, pay $80,000 a year, and you don't end up liking it, I think that that's more of a waste of your time than spending this time right now to do that. So, yeah, that's some amazing points for Connor. And before Connor asks a few questions, I thought it would be fun to ask Cole some college trivia.
Oh, no.
So here's our first question. What UC do you think is the most applied to college in the entire United States?
UC. Oh, my Lord. I have the name, but it isn't there. We'll go with Irvine. I know it isn't Irvine because I know there's one with a lower acceptance rate, but
So the most applied to UC is UCLA with 139,000 yearly applicants. So that's who you're competing against. So even though the application rate or the acceptance rate is very, very low, it's because there's so many people applying.
Oh my gosh.
So what do you think the average financial aid awarded per student is in the United States? This one's a little hard.
Yeah. Let's go with 80K. I might be overestimating though.
$80K.
Yeah, I don't know. Like 20K? Like this is just
It's
a random value.
$15,000. So thinking
God,
about,
that's
I mean,
miserable.
state schools in California are $15,000 a year, but if you're going to like other schools, that really doesn't cover it. So that's why, I mean, financial aid is like a big thing for college students, and college debt is one of the highest debts in the United States. So it's very interesting. And then our last question is, so what are the top admission factor for every high school student? Like, what is the top one that colleges look at?
You know this.
College essays.
It's actually GPA because that's the first thing they look at.
No one cares.
Yeah.
I
I'm
would
so
have said
sad.
college essays too.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Because I think it just shows, like, that's how they skim out the application pool is by
That's rough.
GPA. So now that we've gotten a couple of trivia questions, Connor, what are some questions that you have about college applications that you wanted to ask the experts over here?
Okay, so I'm a sophomore, so I still have a little bit of time to like build my profile for colleges, but I just wanted to ask, what is the best way to build an appealing academic profile that'll make you stand out?
I personally think the best way to build an academic profile is to do things that really just interest you. Because if you're trying to be someone else or do something that your parents want you to do or that your counselors tell you to do, you're not going to be interested in it, and colleges are able to tell. Like, you should do things that really spark your interest and aren't just to boost your resume. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Actually, because sophomore year is what I decided what I'm going to do, which, like, you know, you can go in undecided, but I feel like deciding at your sophomore year is helpful. So then you can do like side projects or like internships or like activities that attribute to your major. So when you go ahead through junior year and then in senior year, you can put all that stuff on your resume saying, oh, I did this, this, and this, and that aligns with your major.
All right.
Extracurriculars also help a lot. You join clubs or even gain a position in the club and slap that on your resume, it steroids it, because colleges will see them like, oh my God, this student, he did something besides academics.
True.
So
Yeah.
it will beef it up. There's some seniors in our grade that are like every club in the school and have some positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor, did you have any other questions?
So it's from what I've like been observing, it's really competitive when applying to colleges, and everyone's like using the same tactics of like fulfilling club positions and taking APs and honors and dual enrollment courses. So from an academic perspective, how do I make myself stand out compared to someone else?
I think it is especially hard for us because we are public school students and we're going up against like Harvard Westlake students who are literally getting fed into USC and Harvard. Like, that's what their schools are made for, and they're paying crazy amounts of money for college application help. And I really think the way to stand out is to do things that you're passionate about. Like, I know students who have gotten into Ivy League schools and they had like a 3.2 GPA, but they did projects that really sparked their interest, something that no one else is going to do, that you can simply just look around your community. What do you want to change? What do you want to make better? Show that you're an activist for the things you care about. Because if you don't show demonstrated interest, colleges are just going to be like, okay, how do I know that they're actually going to do it? So I think that that's really important. But did you guys have any final notes you wanted to say?
I'd say that's a really good point. Like you said, a lot of people have those grades, they have those extracurricular activities. So I feel like that's when the essays really come out. And like those activities you do, like maybe even take the most like random activity and attribute it to your major, because that makes you unique. Like a lot of people are doing internships, a lot of people work at hospitals. I know tons of students that have been like have desk positions at hospitals, but like I don't know what your major is, but even if you were to take GMC to some other random, like I don't know if you're going into science, but I know your grades are really good. If you were to attribute like, oh, how GMC has helped me work with others, or how I was able to see the technical side of things, and like, I don't know, just getting in projects done on time, like how you can attribute like something completely not associated with your major and attribute it to that, I feel like that makes you stand out.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's always important for all of you Coyotes to remember that college is supposed to work for you. You're not working for college. You're not working for a title. You should be going somewhere that is a good fit for you, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one with the career for the rest of your life. And you don't want to be stuck with something that you're just doing because your neighbor said it pays well or is like a good, stable career. You want to do something that you truly are passionate about and love to do. So just a little teaser for our next episode. We're going to be talking to Mr. On about Veterans Day and some interesting facts about the holiday. But that is all we have for today. So thank you so much, Coyotes, and we will see you next time for another episode of Coyote Call. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.